All right. So let's see. And this is where we left off. So David, can you read this one?
I think it's
I'm still logging in.
Oh, okay.
I think it's returning from functions is what we got next.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Returning from functions. Yep.
I feel like we did this one. Hold on.
Yeah, we should be at 35.1.
Yeah, pretty sure we did this one.
Oh, okay. I think must be only one. Okay. Must be
Okay.
comments then. Comments.
Okay.
Yeah, we're on comments 35.1.
Okay. Sandra, would you mind reading this one?
Did you say my name? I'm sorry.
Yeah, would you mind reading?
Of course. Comments. Comments are annotations to code used to make it easier to understand that don't affect how code is run. In Python, a comment is created by inserting an octo something, otherwise known as a number sign or a hash symbol, hashtag. All text after it on this line is ignored. For example, Python doesn't have general purpose multi-line comments as do programming language such as C, like Charlie.
So if you want to comment something out, if you want it to, make like temporary stop something from doing something, comment it out that way. Or if you just wanted to write a comment to explain what you are doing, like there, so that if you reference back, you're not having to like follow your code and figure out, okay, what was I doing there? How was I doing it? What was the purpose of this or whatever? I generally forget to do comments, but they're a good habit to get into. But they say there's no multi-line comments, but this is the incorrect way to do a multi-line comment. If you just do triple quotes, but like you don't assign it to something. So you don't put it in a variable and you don't do anything. This is like the cheating way of doing a multi-line comment, because you're still able to put a comment and it's not going to affect your code. But yeah. So moving on, go ahead and answer the next question. Okay, fill the blanks to comment out the text. And you just put pound sign, hashtag, whatever you want to call it. Number sign, whatever. Oh, well, I guess I didn't need to get into explaining that. David, are you caught up?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, can you read this one?
Sure. Docstrings. Documentation strings have a documentation strings serve as a similar purpose to comments, as they are designed to expand code. However, they are more specific and have a different syntax. They are created by putting multiple strings containing an explanation of function below the function's first line. Unlike conventional comments, docstrings are retained throughout the runtime of the program. This allows the programmer to inspect these comments at runtime.
Okay, so basically same thing. You can do multi-line comments with that. But I mean, you also see we do these triple quotes a lot and then like put stuff in variables. So like you want to do text, right? And then let's print the text, right? Then you can use it as a string. And if you want to insert stuff into it, do your dot format. And this. Well, actually, it needs to be. And then, you can insert stuff into your multi-line string. So that's what they're talking about. You can see the comments at runtime if you want. Like you can display them to the screen, but we just use them as strings. All right, go ahead, answer the next question. Okay. Can a doc string contain multiple lines of text? Yes. Okay, Mark, can you read the, wait, is it Mark who said he's driving? Yeah, I think he said he's driving. Never mind.
Yeah, I'm driving.
Oh, okay, Tim, can you read this one?
Yes, hold on. I think my TV's too loud. Sorry. Functions. Although they are created differently from normal variables, functions are just like any other kind of value. They can be assigned and reassigned to variables and later referenced by those names. The example above assigned the function multiply to a variable operation. Now the name operation can also be used to call the function. Try it yourself. Thank you.
So I don't usually do this. I usually, if I'm gonna call a function, I just call it by its name. In fact, I don't remember any time I've ever needed to assign a function a new variable name. But anyway, it's possible. But it's easier to just call it by its name. Go ahead, answer the next question. What's the output of this code? Shout, word, pass in word, return word plus exclamation point. Speak equals shout. So now speaks the same as calling that. So speak, shout, and then print the output, and it's going to give you shout with an exclamation point. All right. So Peter, can you read this one?
Functions can also be used as arguments of other functions. Try this off. As you can see, the function do it twice, takes a function as its argument and calls it in its body.
Okay. So with this one, so we've got our function, and then we're passing in the function in addition to passing in, the X and Y that we're going to be using, right? So when and then this passes in so we put func right here because we don't know what the name of the function we're going to be passing in is, right? So that's just a variable name function, right? So if it's saying, do this function and then pass this function, do this function and have, this is X and this is Y. So hold on, let's see. So X right here is A. So we've got 5 plus 10. Okay, so you get 15 here. And that's going to be your new X because it's calling the function like 3 times right here. And then this new Y is the same thing, 5 plus 10. So when you pass those 3 in, you get 30. Does that make sense, or are y'all confused? Okay. No questions on that? All right. So go ahead, answer your next question.
Hey, should it have been 50? 5 times 10?
No, it wasn't 10. It wasn't times, it was plus. See, this is the plus.
X plus Y.
Yeah, yeah. All right, go ahead, answer the next question. All right. So fill in the blanks to pass the function square is an argument of the function test. So first def to create our function, and then square def, add our colon to so that we know to execute the function on the next line, indentated, and then test square and 42. All right. Jacob, can you read this one?
Modules. Modules are pieces of code that other people have written to fulfill common tasks such as generating random numbers, performing mathematical operations, etc. The basic way to use module is to add import module name at the top of your code, and then use module underscore name dot var to access function and values with the name var in the module. For example, the following example uses the random module to generate random numbers. The code uses the random function defined in the random module to print 5 numbers in the range 1 to 6.
All right. So you guys have used third-party so Python has built-in modules and third-party modules. So anytime you use pip, you're using a third-party module. Because when you do pip install, then it's something that's not pre-installed with Python. It's something that somebody wrote and uploaded to pip. But like a lot of modules come pre-built with Python, but you can't just use them in a file without importing them. So you have to do, import random, like it was talking about right there. This one's import regular expressions, import JSON requests, lots of stuff. And then like stuff like this from web app 3, import star. This is like a third-party module. This is actually a third-party module I wrote. And this is just import. Anytime you want to use any other file, even in the files in your that you've written and are in the same folder, if you want to use it in the current file you're on, you have to do the same thing, from whatever, import whatever. You guys have been doing that, but now they're actually explaining it. What is going on here? So any questions on modules? And if you want to see Python, what option Python's built-in modules, you can just Google it and go here. And it's going to tell you a list of all the built-in modules. And if you want a list of all the third-party modules, well, there's way too many for that. But if you go to PyPy, is where they're all stored. So like you're never gonna yeah, let's see how many there's 431,000 different third-party modules you could use. So there's quite a bit. So I guess you can click browse projects, but it's only going to give you, a few. Generally, you find out about third-party modules like through like Stack Overflow when you're like Googling how to do something, and they're like, oh, use this module or whatever. And that's how you come across different stuff. It's generally just like when you're needing to do something, and you're figuring it out that somebody's already written like a third-party module to do it for you and make it easier and faster. So yeah. All right. Go ahead and start this no dice. And oh, well, I guess I'll demonstrate this, but it's pretty straightforward. It just creates a random number between 1 and 6, and this for I in range 5. It's just going to do it 5 times. So random's a useful module. Now, technically, since it's computer generated, it's not really random, but it's random enough that it'll be useful for your purposes. Like if you've got like a game and you want it to create dice or something, which I think that's what y'all are about to do right now. Or whatever, you just need some random number. It's random, but the only reason I bring up the not technically random is for like use of encryption and stuff like that. It's not technically random. That's why like they use like your mouse movements in order to create encryption stuff, because then it really is random, because it's like tracking like how you randomly move your mouse and stuff. But anyway, go ahead, work on the no dice, and then just raise your hand once you're done. Wow, looks like a lot of you finished pretty quickly. So Brian, can you go ahead and share screen and explain your answer?
Sure. All right, so I did a dice one and then the random, and pretty much do it randomly 1 through 6, and then the second dice doing the same thing. And then you just print them.
All right, great. Anybody struggling with that one? Need any help? No. Okay.
Go back again. What was that?
What was what?
What's dice? Go back again.
Go back to what?
The screen before the model, the dice model.
Oh, to this one? Okay.
Yeah.
So
Oh, it's a random 6. I'm not getting anything.
yeah, you just between 1 and 6, create random numbers and then just print them.
I have the same thing, but
But it's not working.
learned INC. Yeah, it's not working.
Okay, can you do
I
screen?
think it's not working. Maybe I'm putting something wrong there.
Oh, it's rand int, like random integer. So you just need to put int.
Oh, okay.
The blue box
on
even
the-
gives you a hint on it.
Yeah, and up there too. Yeah, and then go ahead, hit
Right
run.
there.
Good.
Not actually.
All right. So moving on. So this one, which model is being used in this code? Import math and num equals 10, print math dot square root of num. All right. Roger, can you go ahead and read this one?
Modules. There is another kind of import that can be used if you need certain functions made from a module. These take the form from module name import var, and then var can be used as if it were defined normally in your code. For example, to import only the pi constant from the math module, use comma separated list to import multiple objects. For example, pi square root. Start imports all objects from a module. For example, from math import star, this is generally discouraged as it confuses variables in your code with variables in the external module.
So like when we're doing this, the from Flask import, we're importing each different, little, well, really it's like importing a different class that's inside the module Flask, right? We just separate them by commas. All right, and same thing, and this is what it's talking about with the import star. That's just importing everything. But if you know it's not gonna, like if you're importing your own file or whatever, and you just want to do import star, so you don't have to, every time you create a new class in that file, you don't have to go ahead and add it here, then you can do that. Generally on your main page though, you're gonna want, so I didn't do it on this program, but generally you're going to want to put like each individual class you have, so that when you're trying to find it, you can navigate to it from your main page, like it would say which classes are in the different files. It's helpful. But sometimes I get lazy and just do import star. All right, go ahead, answer the next one. Brian and Mike, did you guys have questions, or you just have your hands raised from?
I just assumed you wanted our hands up after when you have us pause to do a question, but I can take it down.
Oh yeah, no, we used to do that, but no, just now for just the code practice ones. We do raise hand.
Sure.
Fill in the blanks from math, import, square root, and cause. And Kevin, can you read this one?
Trying to import a module that isn't available causes an import error.
Yeah, so you'll get this, and then generally it's like if you hadn't pip installed it yet or whatever, then you just do pip install whatever, or I mean you could have mistyped the import too. Oh, darn it. Well, this one's import error.
But hey, Brennan, can you go back to the last question? It's from math import what? What's the initials for square? Oh, comma. That's
Yeah.
what I meant.
Comma,
All
yeah.
right.
Okay. And then Patricia, can you read this one?
Yeah, I'm here. Modules. You can import a module or object under a different name using the as keyword. This is mainly used when a module or object has a long or confusing name. Tap try it yourself to play around with the code.
Yeah. So, like, I think I do that with date time somewhere. Well, no, I guess I didn't do it on this one. But sometimes you'll do, from date time, import date time as DT, right? And then you'd import these separate. But just so that it's one, you can do it faster. You just put DT instead of referencing the whole module name. And then also, like it's also good for if you've already like named something like the same thing that a module's named, you can import it as, a different name so that when you reference it, it's not conflicting with either yours, or if you have multiple third-party modules that have named something the same thing, to avoid them from conflicting. So that's what that's used for. Any questions on that? Okay, go ahead, answer the next question.
I have a question about the next question. It says the square root of 25. Why isn't it 5? Why is it an error occurs?
Because they did import math as M, and then they tried to call math, but they should have called M dot square root 25. Because
That's confusing. You figure it would be 5. They have the answer right there, So
yeah, but it's gonna get an error because it's they already changed the name, and then they still tried to call it by the same name. And if you don't have, like a class, well, if you try and do a dot syntax, anything, it's got to be for a class. So like if you don't have a class or a module named that, that doesn't then also have the function, square root in it, then it's going to get an error. Does that answer your question?
yes, thank you.
All right. Okay, so wait. We do this? No. Okay. Will T, can you read this one?
I'm sorry, Brandon, I was on a call. Was that me you just called?
No, I called Will.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. Will, are you there?
He just put in the chat that he doesn't have a mic.
Oh, okay. Samantha, can you read this one?
Modules. There are three main types of modules in Python: those you write yourself, those you install from external sources, and those that are pre-installed with Python. The last type is called the standard library and contains many useful modules. Some of the standard library's useful modules include string, RE, datetime, math, random, OS, multiprocessing, subprocess, socket, email, JSON, doc test, unit test, PDB, argcars, and SYS. Tasks can be done by the standard library include string parsing, data serialization, testing, debugging, and manipulating dates, emails, commands.
I forgot.
Python's extensive library is one of its main strengths as a language.
All right, so we kind of already covered this. Like I said, here's all the built-in standard library stuff. So, and if you go to this and you want to know, okay, well, what does this do? Like, just click on it and it'll explain it. Yeah, and then like I said, this is the PyPy. This is the pip stuff. So go ahead and of these, you'll probably use, you use string to, and RE, datetime, math, random, OS. These, depending on what you're doing. Socket, I'll show you later. Socket is cool because it lets you turn your computer into a server, basically. So you can connect directly to like other people's IP addresses and stuff. Well, if they're running a program that's built to connect, that has a listener, or like you have a listener and let other people connect to your computer or whatever. But anyway, that can be cool for peer-to-peer stuff, which we'll probably get into later once we're done learning everything. JSON's useful, and yeah, but anyway, there's lots of useful third-party modules, and if you want to just check them out, just go to this here. Actually, I'll put this page in the chat, and if y'all want to check them out, just go ahead and check them out. Okay, so fill in the blanks to import the math module. Import math. Yanni, can you read this one?
Standard library. Some of the modules in the standard library are written in Python, and some are written in C. Most are available on all platforms, but some are Windows or Linux specific. We won't cover all of the modules in the standard library. There are simply too many. The complete documentation for the standard library is available online at www.python.org.
And we just covered that. So go ahead, answer the next question. What's the name given to Python's pre-installed modules? The standard library. Mark, can you read this one? Oh wait, Mark's driving.
Yeah, I'm still driving, sorry.
No worries. So Sandra, can you read this one?
Of course, modules. Many third-party Python modules are stored on the Python package index PyPy. The best way to install these is using a program called pipe. This comes installed by default with modern distribution of Python. If you don't have it, it is easy to install online. Once you have it, installing libraries from PyPy is easy. Look up the name of the library you want to install, go to the command line. For Windows, it will be the command prompt, and enter pip install library _name. Once you're done this, import the library and use it in your code. Using pip is the standard way of installing libraries on most operating systems, but some libraries have pre-built binaries for Windows. These are normally executable files that let you install libraries with the GUI the same way you would install other programs. It's important to enter pip commands at the command line, not the Python interpreter.
Okay, so you guys have all used pip, you know about it, and we already covered PyPy. So go ahead and answer the next question. Okay, what does Python, what does PyPy stand for? Python Package Index. Okay, go ahead, answer the first question on the quiz. Okay, fill in the blanks to define a function that takes two numbers as arguments and returns the smaller one, def, colon, and return. Oh, darn it. Rearrange the code to define a function that calculates the sum of all numbers from 0 to its argument. So def, create the variable res for I in range x, which is x is passed in here, res plus equal 1, return res. All right, go ahead, answer the next one. How would you refer to the randint function if it was imported like this from random import randint as rand underscore int? You'd refer to it as rand underscore int because that's what you named it. Go ahead, answer the next one. Okay, what's the highest number output of this code? So print nums x for I in range x, which we pass in 10, print I, and but then it returns, it doesn't return this print, it's returning nothing. So go ahead and if the return was up here, that would be different, but it's not. So go ahead and answer the next one. What is the output of this code? Def function X, we're passing in 4. So for I in range X, res plus equals 1. And once it's done doing this, return res.
That one wasn't easy. How did you get 6? I see the function is 4.
Yeah,
Well,
okay.
I range X is 4, so range for I is 4. So when you rest plus equals I of that 4, where does 6 come from?
Right, so let's go one at a time. Hold on. Wait, this has got to be that way. Okay, so res is 0. It starts off as 0, right? And then I in range X. So the first one, it passes in 4. So the first one, it comes as I res plus equals 1. So becomes 1. Hold on, I'm trying to think this through. And then the next one is, why does it do that?
Line 30 is res plus equals I, so isn't it just summing the numbers from 0 to 4?
Oh, yeah. Okay, res plus equals I. So, all right, the first one. Okay, let's figure out what I is. So, I equals 0. So, oh yeah, he's right. So, okay. So you get 1 plus 2 equals 3, and then plus 3 equals 6, and then I guess it stops. It's a weird one, but yeah.
Yeah, for range,
That is-
doesn't it stop
Yeah, it
one number
stops,
before the highest limit?
right,
that would
it stops at 3. Yeah, so yeah. All right, moving on. Oh, go ahead and start on that, and then raise your hand once you're done. All right. Now, most of you have it done. So, Tim, can you go ahead and share your screen and share your answer?
Yes. Kind of confusing at first, but I took the return value and I came up with different ones. First, I did 9 to the 5 because it says right here. So I took this pretty much this with a return and it came out wrong. Then I tweaked it a little bit and took the C to the Celsius to multiply to the 9, so divided by 5 plus 32, and it somehow came out correct.
All right. Well, good stuff. Does anybody else need help with this one? If so, just unmute and let me know. Nope. Okay. Then moving on. Oh, actually, that's the last thing, and it's 3. So let me stop sharing.